We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite. Let's go.
We very close.
High flights.
And it's weird because I think also maybe the age gap, but even closer more so. I consider him advisor, business partner, in many aspects because we have the time even more than my dad, even though he's like my uncle's like a kind of guy where he's like come to my house and like okay, and then I remember this one time like 2 years ago. And I was just like, okay, wait, how many meetings you have? The first is like, no, look, come to my house, I'll see you, I've just got a few meetings, but we'll make you just come. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, how many meetings you have? He's like, 20 to 30? And I'm like, wait, like, how does that happen? Like what do you mean?
What are you doing, Daddy?
It's just mostly decisions, like some of them are 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 minutes. So it's like, we just need to call someone or speak to someone. So he makes the plan. So because I guess he's a little bit more in control of it than he can be. But yeah, like my dad, it's cool. Like my dad is family guy. So
I like the piece, man, because we go to the same church.
Yeah, in Branson. Oh, that other.
He funds it. I don't think he attends it. Just he funds it.
Oh, he just funds it.
So yeah.
Every time they rap, it's destroyed. It always disappears and become a pool. You can swim in. What am I saying?
The McDonald's what is it called again? It's a flagship, like the number one store.
Let's go.
So why do it's like the
So
that one, so we call it the flagship because it's the one where, let's say, that's the number one store from operations, from head office operational expertise. So that store, when we host people, when we host people, that has to be an example what other stores are supposed to. But that's like the number one store. So it's like the example store. So it's like a visiting store, but the flagship because the way they built the first one was in Blackheath in Cresta. Yeah.
Well, that's so random. Why did you choose that? So I used to work in call center opposite. There's a McDonald's next to you guys. In between, there's a bush and a road next to it, and then it's in the middle, like it's not in the middle of it's not in a crowded place.
Subscribe. So please like and subscribe. Subscribe.
Next to Woodley Drive. You know what? Like there's literally one in Woodley.
Another one. Dog, I'm talking about the one here by...
Guys, in Woodley, you know the engine in Woodley?
Yes, the one opposite Woodley. The one on that long road Woodley just before the highway. That McDonald's in the That's the one.
Nuclear radiation.
Why?
It melts everything.
I've been there maybe 3 times in my entire life.
I'm good. I'm part of the nuclear.
You told me your name phone.
No, I'm making a famous, and I want you to be famous as well.
Let's get it.
I'm feeling, I'm going to see my like.
Yes.
Why did you get into politics?
Yo,
you like that one?
Look,
Can you answer that one?
Oh, love that one.
Okay, we're back on the show. Welcome back.
No, look, I mean, I think, I think for me, hey, people are going to crucify me for this. But look, I think for
why
me,
do you care so much about what people
do? Because, my partner's in the Middle East, so like, you must tell everybody, like you want to do. Because if you don't, then everything was going to watch.
Oh, everything.
No. And the thing
Cool.
is, like, they were the ones that like,
5K
"Right,
members.
listen, just tell them you're happy, you're actually campaigning now." Like, it started to. I think for me, my time.
This is
And
just a
not that
copy
it
of.
hasn't come about it, but I think also for me, there was a time we were interested, running around with ANC guys, point in time in my life, 20 years old. But
I'm full.
Those are the days Julius was still
I'm
there,
full.
and that was still cool. It was cool to be in the youth league and stuff. But then I don't know. I guess it just got
5 minutes.
misconstrued. A lot of things happened there.
What?
What are you going to do with 30 billion? There's only so much.
Sound like 30,000 bags.
I don't care.
If the man wants you to get him with no cameras, you want to do just me. Yeah, then you are the truth. It's the cameras. If you want to just have the weed and chill, and then turn you on the black. Yeah, bro, in 2022, he came out and he said that, and before Julius with the sign and everybody else, that the banks won't allow you to open an account because you're politically exposed. How did that end? Like, do you have can you open accounts now and trade free like any South African, exercising the constitutional rights?
So my challenges with
It's
actually quite interesting because with me, let's say, because of the industry that I practice in, which is digital assets and
Crypto,
crypto. So within the crypto asset service provider space, even with us, let's say when I was actually part of the bill in 2019 when we legalized Bitcoin. And as a currency, that we also legalized the banks in America to clear the transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. So essentially, what that meant was that now the banks could now just put their transactions on an immutable digital ledger, meaning that they could put their transactions and information on an information base that could not be deleted.
I swear. I got
So
all of
let's say
these
with that, and at that time, I was also being mentored by David Marcus, former president of Facebook Payments.
Wow.
And I remember that was around the time my journey with, let's say, regulation compliance kind of started, and it was interesting because then my account got chosen next year because of all this pala thing and all those things.
Oh, then there was that.
So I kind of already within just the area of my expertise, because there isn't a big aspect of money laundering, illicit funds, transactions, and all that. So I already just always been kind of red flagged, and that's why since 2018 we've been working building with Taiwanese regulated exchange, where they also politically exposed because it's a government-owned regulated exchange, and I'm also so that kind of gave a blanket for a few years. But yeah, for me it's been interesting because it's like it's almost, how do you not be the poster boy internationally for being the face of crypto in Africa, and you're not doing it, and now you're trying to open the account, and then it's like until the day your dad, like now this color thing, now it's like a reason. Now it's just like thank God, like thank God, thank God. Now it's like a reason. So yeah, that was kind of uniquely my reason was also within the space that I operate, and then kind of all the other bad actors and all the other things that just kind of follow and play with it. Yeah, but I'd always been red flagged until something happened, because even with these anti-money laundering and compliance platforms, they're so sensitive in terms of when you look at news. So I search news. What is it called? Law enforcement databases, things like that. They're always constantly searching for. That time I saw he got doing funny things and other things. So you get websites for these kind of compliance, and then kind of me, being in the family. And this is not just my challenge alone. I mean, there's some Mandela people also have.
Yeah, and I spoke about Malema at some point. His son couldn't open.
But it's also kind of weird because also for me, it's like, I mean, you know, it's
hero has
always weird in that,
saved
like, you know, it's almost like I kind of almost saw this was going to happen, but also with crypto, this is also kind of mitigates that kind of problem. You know, you can still, it's not, you know, with crypto, that's the beauty. It's just that it becomes a thing of who's going to accept that value source, right? Yeah. So, you know, even if I had struggled or don't have bank accounts or can't, have to have another names or other things, you know, I give still pride to F&B, and I think I should crucify Standard Bank for not giving me an account, because the last time I had the news article, I was stupid enough to not say which bank it was. It was the Standard Bank.
The Standard Bank refused to open an account. So
Standard Bank is also quite interesting because it's actually, it's not just, you know, the Standard Bank is a lot more racial, and I think with them, it's, you know, it absolutely is. And why I say that, because I remember at the time we were applying accounts, there were people who had accounts, you know, and I'm not going to mention exchanges because I work with them. There were times where there were no crypto service asset providing licenses at the time. You know, I'd met Brendan Toppin in 2019, and he was head of law enforcement of Financial Sector Conduct Authority. So at that time, we had met at the president's, Young President's organization. I'd been invited for one of their moderations on crypto. They invited him because he's a regulator, and then they invited Rand Miller, who's like the #1 trader in South Africa, and I can't remember who it was as well. Then I changed the whole game, and I brought like a whole nuclear weapon. I brought like the head of Africa from Ethereum, which is the second biggest cryptocurrency. So just by me having that guy in the room was already just uncomfortable for everyone, because we had our conference in 2018 and we're very close with the founder. So the point I'm trying to make is, you know, we even brought on
get some help and quit Roblox.
To be one of our advisors. You know, we kind of, what can I say? We how do I say this? We sobered up, or we gave a regulator drunk in the world of useless regulation and meaningless regulation. We sobered him up with the meaning and the technology, and he understood it. You know, from a time where, you know, we were opposing forces, because he's a regulator. Remember, he's now enforcing all the illicit things. And yes, there were funny things. Yes, there were horrible things that were happening. You know, people, you know, money laundering, all these funny things back at. So what I'm trying to make is that, you know, the banks Standard Bank refused to open my account.
Whoa.
Right? Yeah. So then I said, okay, cool. You're going to refuse me to have an account. One, we don't have a crypto asset service provider license. We're still in the gray area. Right? So for you participating and actually servicing clients that don't have it, you're actually contributing to the Reserve Bank.
Because I know I'm not going to finish that
Then guess what the conversation was? No, let's see how we can make it.
I know.
When you're eating even if you don't finish, it's fine. But when you're hungry,
Baba, that doesn't work.
So then they change the conversation, and I mean, even my mom not going to the banks, is that. But I mean, look, we're human beings, and you know, I remember there was even one guy, this is interesting. So we're in there, and I'm like, guys, how is it possible that there's no crypto asset service provider? And don't tell me it's not 100% black crypto. It's not like, no, it's not 100%. The majority of yes, he's not even South African, you know. So I'm like, don't tell me about Farazan. You're the only 100% black person. You know, so how is it possible that you don't have an account and all these other businesses? I remember then, So then, so I asked, first I asked, why they know like service providers? And then they said, no, you're being rude. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I'm being rude. And then it's like, what? And I'm like, I'm being rude. I'm like, no, like I want to know why they know.
Why don't you say, no, my dad? You don't use that line, huh?
Where is you?
Yeah, man. I'm used to every day.
Yeah.
Crypto now.
Hey?
Have you introduced them?
I didn't know
You know that keep your money away.
In the
Then, you know, we had this,
As another alternative, you know?
nah, you
I knew one thing was good.
what?
So then have you introduced your dad to crypto? Like so that let's say he's got a transaction and he doesn't receive cash, that he doesn't know what it
Maybe
is.
yeah, but no, I get what you mean. So what I told him, no, I did. So what I told him,
No, I said no,
what I did.
let's treat questions. We know the reality that old people like to keep money under mattresses and old places. My grandmother passed away, there was like 20 grand there, bro. I just bought the change when it was like 90 days in her wardrobe. I was like, oh, she don't go to the crypto. I know she doesn't have teeth, but Bitcoin, you know, is a thing. It's not about buying it. Sorry, man. Yeah.
I mean,
Roping your dad.
we had to like teach him how to like withdraw like 20 trillion and put it under the couch every now and then, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to teach him.
Bro, what was
But on the real, like,
but what was your reaction during that para thing, bro?
yeah, bro.
Bruh, there's so many stories. We live in a movie, you know, in South Africa. We live in a movie. You know, there's so many things. I mean, is it true? Is it not? This or that. There's so many things. Dude, it's
Whether
one of
it's
those
true or
things.
not, what was your reaction? Like, were you like, oh yeah, he does this. It's just another day.
You know,
Or like, whoa.
me, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
If a parent or family member of mine, but you know, but how did you receive it?
Bro, it's not the first or the last time you hear these bad things. So that's why I'm just trying to say it's another one of those bad things.
Yeah.
You just wait until you hear whatever.
Have you been there? Have you been to the Pala farm? What is it like? Is it open for us? Can I just go on their website, book a place for my family to be there for a weekend? Is it a commercial lodge or a private lodge? What is it like there, bro?
Right. It's like, you know, like the Matrix, like when Neo goes to the Matrix, like it's just like a factory of just like beds, bro. And like it's like a factory of beds, and it's like you have to like just like run and like not like you have to like not it's just really running. And you like have to like not be killed. You have to like it's dangerous sometimes, bro. That's why like Charlie and I like always running. Bro, that's why I have to be like so fit to run away from all this dropping money, bro. Imagine what would happen if like $1 million dropped on my head from a couch, bro. I'd fall into another couch. I'd fall into another couch and sleep on that couch and wake up rich, right?
And wake up swimming.
Yeah.
And not in water polo, in the money.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, shit, sorry. No, man, I'm just genuinely asking about the place,
I
man.
had a plan for my kids before I had them.
You're not talking about kids now.
You're not talking about kids. You're not kids.
No.
You brought it up. You brought them up. Okay.
Okay, on a lighter note, man, this is gonna be easy for you. It's a game we're gonna play because clearly you don't answer anything, but it's fine.
That's what we do.
I just asked someone, like, I literally, because all we know Para is a couch, and to me it's like a bigger than a couch. It sounds like it's got animals, it's called, but it's actually fauna and flora, right? Wildlife and plantation, and it's so I want to know more. I don't want to know about the couch. Let's forget the couch.
That's also part of the anatomical structure of the planet, fauna and flora. That started 4 billion years ago, bro. Just to let 4 billion, just to let you know, of the 13 billion year history of the Earth. Fauna and flora was one of the things that started 4 billion. So it's 4 billion years after the planet started. So a good 10, well, in line of.
Yeah.
So there's not just there's fauna and flora everywhere. And there's also
No,
oxygen
but
everywhere.
game farm, it's accentuated because it's a nature reserve, meaning there's plantation that you're not gonna find in my backyard. That's why it's a reserve. Because there's animals you're not gonna find at the fucking Melville Botanical Gardens, because that's why it's a you know, so I'm talking about the life outside of the Miami or whatever. Just how is it there?
Sorry, but I'm
So,
eating.
Is it open for us to go?
No, it's private.
Oh, it's a private. Okay.
It's
But how is it there, man?
It's beautiful. I mean,
Podcast is
from
also
endangered species. That's where I learned.
Oh,
And that's where we learned. Well, I learned stud breeding with my dad. as I learned,
What is it? Sorry?
stud game.
What's that?
So stud game breeding is a exotic breeding for genetics, but also for conservation. So you're identifying rare and endangered species. Excuse me. So like there's been different there've been different trends over the years of buffalo, big widespread African disease-free. So protecting animals from hunters, predators, poachers, and disease. So that was the first kind of hypothesis for StudX, was to build an investment platform on the blockchain to protect animals in South Africa from hunters, poachers, and disease, and essentially to a global.
Who owns the collies? Is it you or your dad?
So he's got his. I've also got someone. Yeah. I've got enough. Wow. Like Thanos, like those infinity rings.
Yeah.
So
Where do you keep them? Where do you guys keep them?
So it's like he's got the whole world
in his hands.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
I keep mine at a few farms. So he's got a pala, but I've also got money.
Wow, those collies are special, man.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, and I saw your recent Instagram post where you posted about the collies. The example in the post was beef. I mean, burger, because we always hear about Wagyu, and that's Japanese, isn't it? So now you guys are pushing. How does Nkoli meat? I hope you should have brought us, but I've never had. Have you had Nkoli meat? Like,
I haven't brought Nkoli meat, but if you would love to join me as my private guest tonight for dinner, we're launching it. There's about 60 of us. Please join us. A lot of celebrities like you as well.
Oh, I'm not gonna.
Leave me.
No,
the celebrities.
I'm joking. Also a lot of important.
You don't even. If there's a lot of celebrities, he'll put a dead meat.
Say less. So Nkoli, it's actually very interesting because, like, for us, this is actually a very special journey for us with Nkoli. Because actually, Nkoli for the last 9 years has actually been the emblem for the StudX logo, and essentially it was a drone, as I was explaining to Mac. And essentially what that was when I was in San Francisco, I'd missed home so much, and I thought, what would be a way for me to actually give me a vision and feel on the farm, right? And when I was drone racing at the time, I thought, okay, maybe if I had a remote control, signal that gave me view on the farm, but I'm not on the farm. But then now with the investment platform, I'm actually also trading and buying and selling and trading my animal. And then now that's where the drone comes in. And then even the cow is wearing virtual reality goggles. So essentially you'll be at home in California on your farm, missing this beautiful picturesque environment. With all this money, all these animals just raining, whatever. What's not really, it's not worse.
Get farms of box.
Home in California.
But bringing you back, and also the box. It was interesting, but kind of bringing you back into, and this was interesting because it was so funny, like when I think about it, like the more I purported myself into the futuristic world and immersed myself more into technology, the more I had a beauty and appreciation for natural world and natural life. And the reason being is like you get so caught up and so wired in like 12, 16 hours a day on the screen.
Well,
and my
make about 18 hours.
So I'm like
60 people.
Like
you know who those people are?
And then I'm pushing 20. So like, let's say for instance, you're in a world like San Francisco, everybody's building the future. And everybody's like this. I remember like after World Economic Forum in February. So imagine in February, like the same week your like company gets the best in the world, a week later you tear your shoulder and you gotta go for stem cell. And like I remember not having a shoulder and I'm like, dude, I don't care if I'm gonna die, I'm still gonna be here, still gonna care what I'm doing. And when you're in San Francisco, you get so caught up in building the future. Dude, this is the city Mark Zuckerberg's in. Where I stayed was the second place I stayed just before I left was like, was where Cresta is. Was so between here and Cresta. Vitalik Buterin.
It's down the road.
Vitalik Buterin literally stayed 1.5 kilometers where I used to stay in 24. Well, I was there when I stayed there in that area was 2019, and then I moved out to 2022 from the other side of town, from South downtown. So when I look and I'm like, that place, the last place I moved out of, up the road, Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, was living in a house around the corner. We've been to that house, the crypto castle. We go to that house. It's like our temple. So it's like our crypto shrine. But so when you look at it, and that now kind of makes you appreciate the natural world, because it's like you feel like you're in the you feel like you're in the internet, you feel like you're in the matrix. And it's really so gouging, and as much as it's beautiful, you know, building and whatever, but it's taking out, let's say, the physical mantra of what work used to be, right? Like which physical and everything, hard work and hard labor, and now it's more it's more mental and cognitive, right? So it's less physical, but it's more focused now. So it's like now all these other things, back, problem, shoulder. So now you're attributing the things that you would attribute as a person who was in the old world, and now you're in the new world, and you got those kind of problems. So, and it kind of further gave me more inspiration, and I missed it more. And you know, when I look back, and I mean, these simple things that I wouldn't really appreciate, you know, unless I would have gone there. I wouldn't have done before, going to a park and actually walking. That was you know, I never did that, you know. But in San Francisco, I did. Actually, sitting in the park with your laptop, I did, because not only were you staying in a small place, but being so caught up in the internet and trying to build your matrix. You know, you have so much of an appreciation for natural life, for being healthy. Yeah, but being fit, being healthy, you know, eating, you know, organic, still eating meat. And even when I look at it, why did even this meat love come out? And I actually realized the other day, no. I actually fell in love with meat, and the whole meat thing came out because I stopped eating meat for breakfast for like 7 years when I was in the States. Because I remember I used to tell my mom, like, I'm not going to eat an egg that didn't have a mom. Sorry, I'm not going to eat like an egg that didn't have a mom. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, Mom, this is an experiment. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know this experiment. She laughed. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm eating an experiment that went wrong. You know?
So the eggs you're eating are not from chickens?
My guy, they don't taste. That's why I told my mom that this is not from a mom. I literally called her when I didn't know. I'd like have a crisis. I'd have like a bit like a crisis. I'd be phoning her and I'd be like, you know what? Like I'm in the market and I'm at Whole Foods and she'd actually think I'm telling her something serious. I'm like, Mom.
Oh, in America.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Oh, the food there. No, America's shit, bro. America.
We still gotta go there for the World Cup.
You're canceling yours. What's on the north? You're canceling visas. You're they're canceling visas.
Say that.
Oh, in America.
Say that when we've gone to the World Cup.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The food is amazing.
So that's why I changed from eggs to steak, and I'd have steak and waffles, steak and pancakes, and that's how. And then being in San Francisco, like.
So it's literally steak and pancakes.
No. That's such a weird combo. I changed. I love my pancakes.
Yeah, but always steak.
Bro, it's like an eggs. If you have eggs that don't taste like. You don't even want to know what it is.
Yeah.
When you start thinking about it, it starts terrifying you more.
Yeah. Dude, man, I want to play a game with you, man. I'd like to know. It's called One Must Go. This is the game, all right? It's called One Must Go. One Must Go. One Must Go. Right? One must go. Yes. First one is El Chapo, Pablo Escobar.
El Chapo. It would never happen if Escobar died first.
Escobar's a pioneer. He led the way for all this.
If he had never existed, the game would have never existed. And it still would have never exist. You would have never had an El Chapo.
If there wasn't.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just like you wouldn't have had a Cyril if there wasn't a Mandela.
Or like you wouldn't have had a Pumi if there wasn't an Enoch.
Dumelo.
Hey, it's only when the guys are in the city. We're just on the higher brain because it's like, the day tomorrow, the day tomorrow, my favorite.